You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Share that link with a friend. It's youtube.com/BearsNow. We're the fastest growing Bears channel here on YouTube. I got a 3-pack of rumors for you guys today, including the one of the week, maybe of the month. Do the Philadelphia Eagles want too much for Carson Wentz? This is for Smokin' Jays. Bear down because they have outkicked their coverage on this one due to the fact that they wanted Matthew Stafford trade compensation. This one coming from Albert Breer and really every major media member in the last couple of days. Of course, the initial report from Adam Schefter, Eagles want a Matthew Stafford type of deal. 2 firsts and a third. Yeah, not going to happen. Albert Breer today, Eagles overplayed their hand. And in my opinion, Philadelphia basically tried to leak information through smaller media members like Philadelphia radio hosts and stuff like that to create a bidding war, and teams just haven't budged. That is what has happened here. Why has a trade not happened yet? Because Philadelphia wants too much. That's why a trade has not gone down yet. No way Philadelphia will get 2 first-round picks for Carson Wentz. It's not going to happen. Not after the way he played in 2020. I would be floored if a team gave them 2 first-round picks or Matthew Stafford compensation. It's just not going to happen when you had the worst quarterback in the league, basically, in 2020. Here's Albert Breer on this situation. Eagles wanted the return the Lions got for Stafford. That sort of killed the market that they had for Carson because there were some teams that were like, we're not even going to come close to this, so we're not even going to counter that. That leaves the Bears and Colts in an interesting situation. So he's basically saying a lot of teams that could have been interested weren't because of the asking price. Then he said this, are the Eagles willing to take less? How do Frank Reich, the Colts head coach, and John DeFilippo, who we'll talk about in a minute on the Bears coaching staff, feel about bringing him in and how he'll fit into their environments? Both coaches feel like they can fix him as a player, but there's other stuff involved too that complicates things. What other stuff? His contract, the fact that there's leadership concerns, and the fact that I don't know how well liked he was in that locker room in Philadelphia. I don't know. I think he's pretty thin-skinned as well. He's not a mentally tough player. I got to ask this question, though. Is Ryan Pace, for once, playing this right? Like, is he handling things the way a GM should? Oh, we want 2 first? Ryan Pace, I would just expect him, here you go, we'll throw in a third because that's what I do because when I get desperate for quarterbacks, I overpay, a la Mike Glennon and Mitchell Trubisky. So far, it actually seems like he's played this right. He's leaving the ball in Philadelphia's court at this point in time. Do you trust Ryan Pace? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I still don't trust him, but so far so good. He's not met Philadelphia's asking price, which is at least something, right? He didn't give them 2 firsts for Carson Wentz, at least at this point. I'm still going to type my N for no, but go ahead and get your votes in. Y for yes or N for no. Now, if you want your wife or girlfriend to trust you, you better get her some flowers on Valentine's Day. Luckily for you guys, I got a deal for you. Chatsports.com/flowers. That's going to get you 15% off at checkout. And with Valentine's Day just 5 days away, why not take advantage of these different flower arrangements and chocolates and spa packages as well? Tons of different options available. If you don't want to do flowers, maybe your girlfriend or wife doesn't like flowers. Some girls don't. You can go to this spa package. You can get her some chocolates, all kinds of stuff. 15% off, chatsports.com/flowers. That link is in the live chat. It's in the comments. It's in the description. You guys can click and shop today. Mike Garofalo of the NFL Network, remember I said Albert Breer and others, said this: the Eagles are waiting for an offer that is worthwhile to trade away Carson Wentz, a.k.a. they haven't gotten one yet. One of the options still on the table is they don't get an offer that they deem worthy. I believe in the end, he'll be traded. And so do I. I think Carson Wentz will get dealt. I just don't think Philadelphia is getting 2 first-round picks. I think they're naive if they think they can get what Matthew Stafford got. I get it, Stafford's older, but he's coming off another 4,000-yard season. He's got about a decade of evidence of being a top 15-ish quarterback, where Wentz has been great in the past, but he's got major injury concerns, and he was awful last year, and his contract's not great. So to just think that that's going to happen, that is a tough sell. Now, we do have betting odds on where Wentz will land next year. Bears, plus 100, 1-to-1 odds right now. They feel like that is the ideal landing spot for Carson Wentz. Colts plus 150. It's no shocker. Big dip after that because the Bears and Colts are the top 2 favorites according to all reports. Broncos, Washington, Panthers. Maybe they're, outside chances, but it feels like it's either staying in Philadelphia, trade to Chicago, trade to Indianapolis. That's where we sit right now, just up to Philadelphia if they are willing to trade for less than expected. Because you look at the contract, if Wentz can get back to pre-2020 form, he's worth this. There's a lot of evidence that's not going to happen, though, because he was really bad last year. And the risk is not just the $25 million next year, but you're stuck with quite a bit of guaranteed money if you end up trading for Carson Wentz. Like, if you trade for him and it doesn't work, that is a big, big problem. It could set you back 3 or 4 years if you are the Chicago Bears. Now, here's what we know, and what does all this mean? The Bears are clearly interested. I'm not saying they're not. The point of this last 5, 6, 7 minutes was not for me to say Bears aren't trading for Wentz. They still might, and I would say they're probably the favorite to do so at this point. They're just not going to overpay, or at least majorly overpay, which is a good thing. And like I mentioned earlier, at this point, the ball is in Philadelphia's court. Do they want to take, I won't say pennies on the dollar, but maybe quarters on the dollar? Are they willing to take 70% of what they wanted initially? They wanted 2 firsts, maybe an extra pick. Will they take a first and like a fourth or something like that? Will they get a first? I'll be curious to see. I don't think I'd trade a first for Carson Wentz, but I think if you're Philadelphia and you could at least get a 1 first rounder, don't you take it? He doesn't want to be there anymore. I think after what he did last year, you'd be feeling great about that. And obviously, if you want to take a bit of a calculated risk, if you're the Bears or the Colts or someone else, you're banking on this. You're banking on getting 2017 to 2019 Carson Wentz, in which he was a top 10 quarterback, and in 2017, the MVP frontrunner before he got injured. That's what you're hoping for. That's what you are expecting if you trade for Carson Wentz. But like I said, at this point, it's really up to Philadelphia. Good for Ryan Pace. Up to now, he's not willing to overpay. We'll see what ends up happening at the end of the day. So will the Bears trade for Carson Wentz? Not do you want them to, will they? Predict it. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Will Chicago trade for Carson Wentz? I want to hear it from you guys in the comments section right now. Next up, we mentioned him earlier. Will John DeFilippo have a bigger role in 2021? 3 smoking Jays on this one. Pretty likely because he got a promotion, number one. He is now the passing game coordinator in addition to his duties as quarterbacks coach as well. This makes sense because Dave Ragone was your passing game coordinator last year. He left for the Falcons, and I kind of thought there were already too many cooks in the kitchen on this staff, so bringing in an extra guy to fill that role doesn't really make sense. Your quarterbacks coach can be your passing game coordinator as well. This is a good move. This makes a lot of sense. You got Nagy, you got Bill Lazor, you got DeFilippo. You don't need more offensive minds in there. You got 3 already. Like last year with 4, it was too many. It was a mess. You changed play callers mid-year to try and mix it up. There was too much happening on this offensive staff. Now you just got to decide which guy is your lead voice in terms of, the play calling and those sort of things. But DeFilippo, remember, when it ties back to Carson Wentz, he was his quarterbacks coach from 2016 to 2017. And remember, that 2017 season, Carson Wentz probably wins MVP if he does not get hurt in the 12th or 13th game or whatever that was that season. I think there's a pretty decent chance that he's pitching to Matt Nagy like, hey, I can fix this guy if we bring him on board. Who should call plays this season? It's going to be one of these 3 guys. Type MN for Matt Nagy, type BL for Bill Lazor, type JF for John DeFilippo. I don't know why I did F there. For Flip, why not? JF for John DeFilippo. I think it'll be Lazor, but who the hell knows, right? Nagy could take it back. DeFilippo's probably a distant third there. We'll just have to wait and see. Go ahead and get your votes in. And while you're getting your votes in, why not subscribe to the channel? It's 100% free. You see the link below. It's youtube.com/BearsNow. We're like 60 subs away from 22,000 subscribers. I want to get there by the end of today's live show. If you're watching live, if not, I want to be there by midnight Tuesday night. So help us out. Subscribe today. We got daily videos just for you guys. All right, last one here, trade for Derek Carr. This one's just going to be one smoking Jay because I do think there's a lot of attention on Wentz right now. And I just don't think it's that likely the Raiders trade Carr. It's greater than 0%, which is why I'll give it the one smoking J, but overall, it's not very likely. Bleacher Report threw this one out there saying, hey, we'll predict a Derek Carr to the Raiders trade. Report, though, as of late, is that the Raiders aren't looking to really trade Carr. They'd prefer to trade Mariota, which, good luck with that. I definitely don't want to trade for Marcus Mariota. But obviously, when it comes to the Bears, they need a quarterback, and they should show some interest in Derek Carr. Don't think it's likely, but you should at least make the call if you are Ryan Pace. This was the idea Bleacher Report threw together. Derek Carr to Chicago for Nick Foles. And your top 2 picks this year. Number 20 overall in round 1, number 52 overall in round 2. I think that's a lot, man, to lose both your top picks this year for Carr. It's quite a bit. Let me know who you guys think wins the trade. Type CHI for the Bears, LV for the Raiders there. I kind of think the Raiders win that trade, especially if they can figure out who they want their next quarterback to be. The reason I can't give up both my top 2 picks this year is this is a really good offensive line draft class. You can get a good tackle in the second round. So I'd rather give up a first this year and a second next year, even if that means giving up like a future fifth as well, a slightly extra compensation, because I need to draft a tackle this year if I'm Ryan Pace. So the only way I'm giving up my top 2 picks this year is if it's the Deshaun Watson mega trade, right? Then you figure out the rest of your roster later because you're willing to do that for Watson. But I'm not doing that for Carr. This O-line still needs work. You got to keep at least one of your top 2 picks this year, in my opinion. Now, I do like Carr. He was good last year. I think he's thin-skinned, but, he's a good quarterback. He's definitely an upgrade over Mitchell Trubisky. He's like Alex Smith in his prime, just not quite as mobile. He's steady, he's solid, he's accurate underneath. He takes care of the football, which are all attributes that the Bears could use out of their quarterback, right? They've had too much erratic play in recent years. You get back to taking care of the ball, playing defense, running the football, you can be in much better shape come playoff time than you were in 2020. So predict it for me. We'll keep asking you guys until we find out the answer. Who will be the Bears quarterback in 2021? Go ahead and cast your votes.